Do therapists tell you your diagnosis? That's what a psychiatrist is for. Usually. It depends on their policy. Your wish is that you have told them. Their qualifications. And the laws of the country you're in. My therapist had told me before that when we first met when I was in middle school, she could see what disorders I probably had. But she didn't tell me or diagnose me until years later because she felt that I wasn't in the right headspace. She was right. She did give me coping skills and waited until I brought it up and then we would discuss it. Only then would she officially diagnose me. Which I appreciate cause I feel like I have autonomy in my care. Therapist here, in order to bill insurance we are required to use a DSM diagnosis. I'm a believer in transparency and if a client wants to talk about the diagnosis I used and why I'd be more than happy to share it as long as it's understood the diagnosis is to help the path of treatment and not a label of the person. I'm Canadian so my answer may not be relevant to you. But my diagnoses weren't given to me by my therapists. I was diagnosed by separate doctors who were specifically just to diagnose then offer treatment plans to be provided by someone else. After both of my assessments, I was sent a very thorough document, one 15 pages and the other 30 pages, explaining the results. When I first went to a therapist I asked for an immediate referral to a psychiatrist. Because they're the ones that make the diagnosis. I had a couple sessions with the psych where I went over my symptoms and we talked about my experiences. And I started going on trial for medication quickly. After a month on medication I asked them if I was properly diagnosed with anything and they said yes. And I still see them to this day to keep working on proper treatment. A year and a half later. I don't know if it's the norm to have done it that way. But that was my experience. What screams I'm low class? Anyone who says you think you're better than me and quat. It's like I didn't before you said that. But now I'm thinking I might be. Socially, excessively long fingernails on a woman or man and bonus low class points if they have some type of 3D shit glued to them. Economically, trying or thinking you can impress me with things. Poor grammar, financing everything, bad credit score, casual clothes to nice venues, not filling the gas tank up all the way, loud car modifications, cigarettes, fat, busted teeth, acquires money through short-term schemes instead of long-term jobs, investments. The entire idea of having public arguments whether it's public or Facebook and bringing other unrelated people in. Well what do you think man it's your obviously failing marriage/family bringing in a third is statistically proven to make it worse. When a person buys some expensive thing and starts bragging about it to everyone he meets. Rich people will never, at least in most cases, tell everyone about their spending, buying, etc. Also, poor people buy non-original goods, t-shirts, pants, that look downright scary. Taking pride in rejection of new experiences, like I'd never try that sushi stuff or you'll never catch me in Chicago. And quat, not just the rejection of those new experiences, but acting like you deserve to have a chip on your shoulder because of it. The storytelling in those Mexican norteño or banda music videos where the singer is fat and poor, and his girlfriend leaves him for someone else. Sometime later he comes back and he's somehow rich. And the ex-girlfriend begs to get back with him because he has money. The singer is blinged out to the gills like that one Indian guy who made a shirt out of gold. And he coldly rejects his ex. They count the hash of steps as they walk up or down them, maybe even thinking of a word/phrase that has a hash of syllables that looks like it might align to the hash of stairs and say those syllables as you walk up/down. Oh my god. This triggered a broken memory from almost 15 years ago. I used to do something like this or really similar with stairs and or just regular stepping but can't remember exactly what it was. I also count crosswalk lines when I use them. Just so I know. Yeah, the water dispenser on my fridge is really slow so when I fill a water bottle I count how many seconds it takes. Just to have something to think about and pass the time. 60 whole seconds to fill up my big water bottle, that's some damn boring time standing there lol. Yeah. I do that too. It's a great way to keep myself entertained and focused on the task. I usually pick simple counting words like 1 or 2 to keep track. But sometimes I like to make it more fun by counting up or down in 2s or 3s. Or picking fun words that match the number of syllables. I used to count steps. But I'm lazy. Not all the time. Like I'd try to count how many steps from this building to the bus stop or whatever. But my mind would wander and I'd lose count. Sometimes UWATV start again at a random number for whatever reason. Haven't done it in quite a long time. Good times. I count all the time, not only while walking or climbing stairs but also while chopping vegetables, playing sports or even while doing nothing. Got some melodies as well that in my mind I apply to my movements or thoughts. My psychologist says it's because of the irresistible need to feel in control and to look for some structure in the chaos. Apparently it's not unhealthy as long as it doesn't interfere with the daily life. What was the biggest mistake you've made in a relationship? Not taking signs that the relationship was over. My GF in high school got to a point where it was pretty clear she was ready to end it. But she just wouldn't do it. It was the first major relationship for both of us. Instead of accepting it was over, I was bound and determined to win her back. So we spent a couple of months where she would go back and forth between being nice to me and treating me like garbage while I tried to do everything she wanted and meet every demand to make her happy and not leave me. Thought I could help and be a better man than she was used to. In the end she walked all over me and treated me like shit. Psychological abuse and physical abuse. I'm so lucky to be away from that crazy bitch. It gave me 2 beautiful children, but her mental instability scares me still to this day. She says she is in therapy, but I doubt that will fix all of the problems she has mentally. Good luck to her. I'm glad I'm not the Rock anymore. Now I'm in a relationship that's loving. Listen to your heart, my dudes. If it doesn't feel right, then get out. Best thing that ever happened to me. Taking things too personally, I've learned to stop this, and allowing things to happen when I wasn't comfortable. It's very difficult for me to find a middle ground. If I enforce my boundaries, I come off too harsh and cold. When I don't, I come off too soft. When I get too confused, anxious, or overwhelmed, I laugh, which is also a red flag for most. Which sucks because I can't control it. I also decided not to date anymore. My ex from 7 years ago used to take advantage of my clouded mind. I zone out from time to time, and it's not on purpose, and would flirt with my friends while I'm zoned out. My last girlfriend started to do that a year and a half into the relationship. Broke that shit off quickly.